What is going on, YouTube, and welcome to Free Agency Tampering Period. Today, it's going to be a crazy day for this channel and my personal channel. So I just want to give you an update. If something happens where the Lions sign a player, expect a video, expect information. It'll be on YouTube as well as Facebook. So just get ready for that. Don't know what's going to happen. Don't know what players the Lions will sign or if they don't. Last year's free agency, not a lot happened on day one. I think it's a little bit different here, but just be patient. Videos will drop throughout the day if something happens. If you want immediate information, you go on Twitter. It'll be up. Trust me, a video will be made. If it's not a significant signing, a depth player that doesn't really have any meaning, I may just combine that with multiple other players for depth signings in one video instead of just doing separate videos. But if we're talking about a big signing, a big high-praised free agent, or a re-signing like a DJ Chark or a Jamaal Williams, expect probably their own video. But before we get into today's video, if you're not a subscriber to Lions Nation Unite, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that like button to get this thing going. So expect it's going to be multiple videos today, not just one. And it's going to be like that because it's free agency. But let's talk about Jalen Ramsey trade. The Lions did not get Jalen Ramsey. He was traded to the Miami Dolphins for a third-round pick. A lot of people are upset the Lions did not trade for Jalen Ramsey. I posted on my personal Twitter. I got destroyed by some of the people, really upset that we did not get Jalen Ramsey. Let me know in the comment section right now, are you angry we didn't get him? Are you? And just be honest. If you wanted him, great. If you didn't want him, great. We all have different opinions here, so I'm just curious to see what you guys think. I'm going to tell you why it's not that big of a deal, or it's not bad that we didn't trade for him. Yes, it was for a third-round pick, in which is a lot less than initially expected. I mean, we were told it was a first and a second, or a second. I said I did not want to trade for Jalen Ramsey for a first-round pick, and it comes out it was for a third. Why? He's 28 years old, and more importantly, folks, it's not just about the player, it's about the money. And he wanted to get more money, and he did with the Miami Dolphins. So you're talking about a player that's going to hurt your cap big time. Big time. If we were to trade for Jalen Ramsey, yeah, the draft capital's not that big of a deal, but it's the cap. So who are you going to try to get Jamaal Williams back? You're going to try to get other players in free agency. Now, we could be a team that restructures, like we have seen a ton of teams restructured, actually this weekend a lot. And it does help with the cap. But you're kicking the can down the road. If you have noticed, a lot of teams are cutting players, or like the Rams trying to trade players, because they're in cap hell right now, cap purgatory. What Brad Holmes has done is he has a price tag that he's willing to pay for said player or trade for said player, and he's not going to budge from that. And I think that's really important. So, yeah, of course we inquired about Jalen Ramsey, and of course they wanted to get him. He is a very talented player, but there's also a price tag for that. You're not just going to go out there and just throw buku money just for a name. You have a certain amount of money you're willing to do, or a certain amount of draft capital you're willing to give up. There's that sticking point. If someone wants to go beyond that, good for them, and they get the player. We're not going to do that. That's how I see Brad Holmes as for a GM, and it's very appreciated. Throughout Lions tenure that we've been Lions fans, you see that they're willing to go out there and just blow money up, but then it kills you in the cap, like the Trey Flowers or Jamie Collins and other players that we've had throughout time, that you get the big names, you get the players, but you're spending more than you want to spend, and it eventually hurts your cap. Because you got to understand, we got players that we're going to have to probably look to re-sign next year that are not first-round picks. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jonah Jackson, Jerry Jacobs, Aleem McNeil. Then the following year, obviously they're going to pick up Panay's fifth-year option when that becomes available. So you got to understand, it's not just now, it's years down the road. We had the issue with Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson, and we couldn't re-sign Ndamukong Suh just because he had so much money strapped. So you got to understand that. And look, yes, it's just a third-round pick, in which, look, I think that's good to get a Jalen Ramsey. Like, the compensation is not bad from a draft standpoint. But to give you a little relax here, Brad Holmes really good in round 3. Lee McNeil, pretty good, if you ask me. Kirby Joseph, pretty good, if you ask me. So it's not like we can't get anyone in the 3rd round. Brad Holmes has proven his ability to find talent in the NFL draft. Also, there's a ton of cornerbacks in free agency. You got Jamel Dean, you got Bradberry. I mean, it's buku free agency with players. Byron Murphy. And you don't have to give up draft picks to get these players. So, and you can sign them to the contract you want them to have. Remember, Jalen Ramsey wanted a specific amount for the trade. This, you can kind of make the contract a little more flexibility for the Lions. So that's something you got to understand there from a financial standpoint. Also, Jalen Ramsey wanted to go to Miami. That was his preferred destination. He didn't prefer to come here. So it's not like Brad Holmes didn't try. It's not any of that. Nothing you can do if he wants to go to a different team. Miami's a nice place. Remember, he is from that area. He's been in the warm climate. Maybe he's a guy who just likes it. It's just one of those things. Also, you got the NFL draft coming up. We got 5 picks in the top 100. They can get that cornerback in the draft, and it's perfectly fine. So my expectations here, the Lions will upgrade the cornerback position. Maybe it happens today, and you're watching this video after the fact, and they signed a high-priced cornerback or a very good cornerback to the Lions roster. I fully expect them to completely change the depth in the cornerback room for this football team. So don't get upset that we didn't get Jalen Ramsey. Trust me. Trust Brad Holmes that he is trying to find the talent to reshape that room. I told you a couple weeks ago the Lions weren't going to trade for Jalen Ramsey. I was told this, and they didn't trade for him. Now, I definitely didn't expect it to be for a 3rd-round pick. But remember, just Brad Holmes is a financial guy, and he wants to make sure everything's right. So they attempted to. They inquired about it. It didn't happen. We move on to other players. So there's Bradberry, there's Dean, Byron Murphy, Christian Gonzalez in the draft, Joey Porter Jr., Cam Smith, all the players out there, Devin Witherspoon for the Lions to build this team the correct way. And guess what? They could trade for a cornerback. We've seen Mr. Sutton's on the trade block or have had trade inquiries over there. So if they wanted to do that, they could do that. And I think you heard of a guy named Darius Slay. He's allowed to go ahead and seek a trade. So that could be an option for the Detroit Lions. Yeah, Slay a little bit older, but he's still a good cornerback. There's many ways for the Lions to get this defensive back room better with talent. And I think they're going to do just that. So a lot of stuff happening today. Don't worry about it. Also, Jamaal Williams is receiving a ton of interest out there from NFL teams. Cincinnati Bengals, we heard the Buffalo Bills. He's going to receive interest. So maybe the Lions have re-signed him by now. Again, this is going to be fluid throughout the day. But if the Lions don't re-sign him, look, man, we got the NFL draft. You could do a trade as well. There's a lot of running backs that the Lions could look at. I love Jamaal Williams. I absolutely do. I really like what he brings to the Detroit Lions, so I want the Lions to get him back for sure. But if we don't, it's not the end of the world. And if he goes to another team, I'll make a video talking about Lions options for the running back room, whether it be the draft prospects they could look at as well as free agents or trades. Because, hey, that you can find talent out there. So hopefully we get Jamaal Williams back. Really want him on this roster. He is a fan favorite. The guy is a leader. He works hard. He's not injured much. He is exactly what the Lions need. DJ Chark, I haven't heard anything on DJ Chark except for speculation that teams may go for him, but there's no legitimate rumors that this team is going to find DJ Chark. No, nothing on John Kaminsky except for he wanted to come back, so that's the latest there. Throughout the day, we'll find out. We're going to find out in a couple hours. Super excited for it. See what happens. Lions, make some moves. I do want the Lions to make some moves. I do want the Lions to at least get one high-end cornerback and re-sign their own guys. That's kind of what I'm looking for the Detroit Lions. Really build this team in free agency better than what we've done in the past couple of years. I want to be a little more active this year than the last two, but not crazy. You don't need to go absolutely bonkers, but get some players to help this team out. Folks, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You're going to want to do that because there's going to be a lot of information coming out today in free agency. With that said, folks,